If you're a non-citizen and you've been charged with domestic violence, your entire future in the United States could be at risk. Even a misdemeanor conviction can trigger deportation, mandatory ICE detention, and prevent you from getting a green card or citizenship. I'm attorney Adam Rossin with the Rossin Law Firm, and in this video, I'm going to be breaking down for you how domestic violence charges can affect your immigration status, what happens if ICE places an immigration hold on you, and ways that criminal defense attorneys can help you fight back. If you or a loved one is in this situation, watch until the end because one mistake can change everything. Can a domestic violence charge lead to deportation? So the short answer is yes, and here's why. Under U.S. immigration law, domestic violence charges are considered deportable offenses under the Immigration and Nationality Act. And what does that mean? So it means that a conviction, even for a misdemeanor, could result in you being put in removal proceedings. Removal is the technical term for deportation. Now, LPRs, legal permanent residents, aka green card holders, are not exempt. Green card holders get deported every single day in this country, and it's been going on for decades. So this is not something new under the new presidential administration and under the new rules. Now, if you're undocumented, a domestic violence charge can fast track deportation. And it's really important to know and consider that even if the victim drops the charges or files a waiver of prosecution, the government can still prosecute you. Even if the alleged victim files a waiver of prosecution and the prosecutors drop the charge, well, the United States government, from an immigration or deportation standpoint, they can still prosecute you. They can still try to have you deported, even if you're not convicted in the criminal courts. So an arrest alone can trigger ICE involvement. Violating a protective order, otherwise known as a restraining order, generally a misdemeanor, that also is a deportable offense. So it's not just the serious violent felonies. It could be misdemeanors or even violating a protective order, which doesn't have to be violent in nature, can make you deportable. Now, here's a question that we're getting all the time. What happens if you have an immigration hold? Okay, again, especially in 2025. So if you're arrested for domestic violence, ICE may place what's called an immigration hold on you. And here's what it means. Even if you post bail, you get a bondsman, you pay the full amount, right? Normally all good. If you have an immigration hold, you might not be released. ICE can transfer you to an immigration detention center once your criminal case is done. They can even take you right ahead without the criminal case being done. So for example, if you have that ICE hold, a lot of times in South Florida, they're just going to take you to Chrome. Okay. And Chrome is the immigration court and detention facility in Southwest Miami. Not a good place to be. So what we're seeing now is a lot of our clients who are non-citizens, they're putting the immigration hold on, and if they post bond, they're getting taken right down to Chrome immediately. We've also been seeing some people on immigration holds the past few weeks just being taken to Chrome without even posting bond. So it's getting very scary out there. So for these clients, they're getting put in deportation proceedings before we've even finished the court case. They may be not guilty, right? We have tons of work to do on these cases, and before they've ever been convicted of a crime, fully prosecuted, or even had the chance for us to defend and win their case, they're being put in deportation proceedings. It makes it so much harder for us to defend criminal charges when we have a client who's at Chrome in Southwest Miami having to fight a war on two fronts, the immigration war and then also the criminal defense war. And the government knows what they're doing. They're pushing hard for this in order to try to get people to give up and just say, I just want to go back to my country. Let me just get deported because I'd rather be free in my own country than in an American immigration or criminal jail. Now, let's talk about 5 ways that a criminal defense attorney can help you in these domestic violence and immigration situations, okay? And these are specifically where having not just a criminal defense attorney, but expert criminal defense attorneys on your side can help, okay? So the first case is getting the charges dismissed. Well, yeah, you want to win, okay? In a case like this, you need to win. But a lot of times these cases, they're built on little to no evidence. He said, she said, false accusations we see all the time, but most people don't think that that happens. Let me tell you, false accusations happen all the time. What about situations when there's no witnesses or a motive or bias to come up and make these false accusations? Again, we see these cases all the time. So if the charges get dismissed, you're going to have a better chance of avoiding immigration consequences. And again, especially in today's day and age, doesn't mean it's guaranteed, but we want to put our clients in the best chance possible. Now, the second thing we can do is negotiating a plea deal that won't trigger deportation. Now, some charges automatically lead to deportation, others don't. Now, it also depends on our specific client's immigration status. So something like this is going to be great for our LPR, our green card holders, our lawful permanent residents. If you're undocumented, well, then it's a much different analysis, and usually in these type of cases, any charge will hurt you. So the criminal defense lawyer really needs to know your status, because your status can also affect what can be good or not. But I can tell you, over the years, we've had so many cases where we change it from subsection A to subsection B in the statute. We get a felony reduced to a misdemeanor. But more than that, we get it reduced to a misdemeanor and we change the charging document to remove maybe an and change it to an or type language. And we've had many cases where that's helped our clients be able to have defenses at an immigration court and ultimately keep them and keep their families still in the country. So the third big thing that we can do on these cases is fight for alternative programs, such as diversion programs. It could be a drug court, mental health court, pretrial intervention, pretrial diversion. There's a lot of different things that are involved. Generally, plea and pass is not so good, but the true diversionary programs are good, and it's rehabilitation focused. So the great thing about these is that if you do everything the right way, if you comply, then the charges are dismissed. It's also very hard to do these programs if you're sitting in jail, whether it's in Miami, Broward, Palm Beach, or the local county jails, or an immigration detention facility, which is also a jail. It's very hard to comply, very hard to get rehabilitated and do these things. So generally, these work really well when the client's out of custody and can continue to go to court, get services and programs. And if we can negotiate a diversion program, again, it results in a dismissal. It's going to significantly increase your chances to beat the deportation case and stay in the country. Now, the fourth thing that we can really help you with is avoiding any violations of a no contact order, a protective order, restraining order. They're all the same kind of things. And on the criminal cases, you're usually going to have that. But most people violate it unknowingly through it's an accident. There could be little mess ups here and there, or the alleged victim reaches out and says, well, I want to see you, I want to see you. Then they get into another argument or something happens, cops come, and of course, only one person's going to jail. And when you violate that, again, that can make these situations 10 times worse with immigration. So you need an expert criminal defense attorney to really be that quarterback and prevent you from getting rearrested for violating a no contact order. So I'm telling you, most people think it's very simple. It's not. These domestic cases, they're highly complex because there's emotions involved. There's a lot of love involved. And when you have emotions and love and, two different people with these issues, there's a lot of manipulation. There's a lot of confusion. It's bad. So by having us involved to let the client know you can do this, you can't do that, is essential and key. And the fifth thing is working with an immigration attorney or a criminal attorney for post-conviction relief. So if you've had a domestic violence conviction or any type of conviction, you may have options. The laws are pretty tough and restrictive on this. There's certain time deadlines that you have to adhere to in the state of Florida, but it's a possibility. And so you need to be able to know that and discuss that with your criminal defense attorney and or an immigration attorneys. And these 5 strategies can be the difference between staying in the country or being deported. So now I want to pivot a little bit and talk about, well, if you're facing a domestic violence charge what should you do? So don't ever speak to police, whether you're a citizen or a non-citizen. Don't speak to police at all. If anybody from ICE comes to interview you or talk to you, don't speak to them either. Okay, no law enforcement, state, federal, nobody. Anything you say can be used against you in criminal and immigration court. Okay, you should not take any plea deal without legal advice. So many people say, well, I'm just going to go to court, handle it myself, plea out an arraignment. Oh, the judge says I'm going to get out of jail. Great, right? You have no idea what that's going to be for immigration consequences. When the judge tells you that you may be deported by this or there may be immigration consequences, you don't know. You're not able to speak with a legal expert if you do not have an attorney. You must hire an attorney. And with that said, you must hire expert attorneys that understand immigration consequences as well. When you're a non-citizen, this is 1 + 1 = 10 on the complexity level. So you don't just need a lawyer, a criminal lawyer, you need an expert criminal law team that understands this, that has walked in these shoes hundreds, if not thousands of times in the past. And you need to act fast. The faster you have this team, the faster you have the experts, the more options that you'll have, the better results that you will have. I can tell you from doing this almost 20 years, the faster we get hired on cases, the more time we have to influence certain situations, negotiate with the prosecutors, just do everything that needs to be involved in the case, the better results we get when we're hired immediately. It doesn't mean that we can't take your case later on, but trust me, let me tell you, you want the best results possible. Early is key. Okay. So in order to recap, let's recap here. Domestic violence convictions can make you deportable. They are deportable offenses, even if they're misdemeanors. An ICE hold will keep you detained, even if you post bail. Okay, you'll still be detained. They'll just take you down to Chrome or the immigration facility. An expert criminal defense attorney can fight the case, try to get it dismissed, file motions to suppress, negotiate lesser or safer plea deals, or seek post-conviction relief. And never, ever, ever accept a plea deal without understanding the full immigration consequences, because you certainly don't want to think that you're doing the right thing to only then be deported and be away from your family and loved ones. Hopefully this gave you guys tremendous value. Like, share, subscribe to our channel. If you or a loved one or anyone you know is going through this, give us a call immediately. Here at the Rawson Law Firm, look, this is what we do. We are criminal defense experts. We've been around the block for almost 20 years. We're here to help. You can call us at any time, 754-206-6200.